Hi there, Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for your ears. And I still don't have the internet at my house, so I'm recording this at home or at work after hours. If it sounds really good, I'm using much more expensive microphones than what I have at home. Anyway, we're going to be talking about what year did this come out? Oh, yeah, this year, 2021, Snake Eyes. So let me start by saying I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. I wasn't really an action figure guy as a kid. I had a few. I had some Star Wars. I had a few other things. But I did have a G.I. Joe at one point, but I never watched the cartoon, don't know anything about it. I do own the previous two movies on Blu-ray. They recently came out on 4K, and I recently rewatched them. I was going to do a podcast. I guess I should. I recently rewatched them to see if I needed to upgrade them, and I didn't. The first one's not really good. The second one was a little bit better as far as movies go. But again, I'm someone who doesn't know anything about G.I. Joe. So saying that, the short version of this review is, if you're looking for an action movie and you've already seen John Wick too many times, Snake Eyes isn't bad. That would be the short version. Like I said, I don't know anything about the G.I. Joe universe and if this is a bastardization of the story or the character or whatever. I do know that Snake Eyes doesn't really talk, and he talks through the whole movie, so I guess the not talking thing comes later. They announced last year that a follow-up movie will be made. I'm kind of shocked because this movie had a big budget, somewhere between $90 and $110 million. Only grossed about $37 million, but I understand it's doing well on home video streaming and stuff like that. For me, as someone coming into it cold, I watched the other two movies and thought they were mediocre. The production values were really good. I thought the fight scenes were good. A little too much shaky cam. They could have pulled back like John Wick and Deadpool and a few others. These guys knew what they were doing. Obviously, the choreography is really good. There's a lot of sword play, and that's dangerous and hard. Henry Golding wasn't really familiar with a lot of his work, did great as Snake Eyes. Andrew Koji, who I love on Warrior, that TV series, he plays the guy that becomes Storm Shadow, Tommy. The rest of the characters, I didn't know Samara Weaving was in it. Iko Uwais, I'm always a big fan. He wasn't in it enough for me. All in all, it's 2 hours. It could have been cut down a little bit, but they were trying to get to some story, and that is what elevates it above the typical B-grade direct-to-video action movie you usually see. Really high production values, really good actors doing this. I could have done without the magic snakes. I'm not going to get into too many spoilers in my reviews, but there's a scene that deals with giant snakes that have to decide whether you're pure of heart, and they come up again later in the movie. But obviously CGI snakes, and I don't know, the movie is very grounded and fairly realistic. There's not a whole lot of wire work or anything like that, so that kind of takes you out of it. And there's a magic stone as well. But other than that, the rest of it, I mean, the choreography is good. I like a lot of the actors. I like the woman who played Baroness, Ursula Corbero. I thought she was great. As I said, Samara Weaving, Scarlett. Everybody in the film, I thought, did a good job with what it was. I thought the directing was pretty good. Robert Schwenke, he's a German director. He hasn't directed too many good movies, unfortunately. The Time Traveler's Wife, R.I.P.D., a couple of the Divergent movies, which I didn't see. I didn't see any of those previous movies. So, but none of them were big hits. So how did he get, $100 million budget and a G.I.? I mean, he was the directing was fine. There's some really standout scenes that I thought if I had watched it in 4K, I Redboxed the Blu-ray because, like I said, I can't stream anything. I don't have internet. And 4Ks are not available in our Redboxes here in Alaska. So before I plunk down $28 to $30 for what the 4K is going for these days, I thought I would check out the movie. And I don't know that it's what I need to add to my collection. I like a lot of the actors, and a sequel could make this mandatory watching. If they make a decent sequel out of it. There's more to the story. I watched all the extras that were on the Blu-ray, so I through the gist of it, know that there's this long relationship with Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, and this kind of gives you a background of why that happened. That they had done some things in cartoons, I guess, and comics, and that this kind of fleshed it out fully that had never been done before, I guess. But like I said, I can't really comment on that. But as someone who in 2021 enjoys a good action movie, and I've seen all 3 John Wick movies and both Deadpool movies quite a bit, The Hitman's Wife and The Hitman's Bodyguard, those were fine. You know, there's just not a whole lot of A-list action movies these days, or you get headache-inducing Michael Bay stuff. So it could have been directed a little bit better as far as the action scenes go. For me, if you're going to watch a martial arts movie, pull the camera back and let me see these guys work, because Andrew Koji does some incredible work in Warrior. Iko Uwais has always done great work in his movies. I rewatched Mile 22 the other night, which is a decent action movie, but his fight scenes are just incredible. So the movie's considered a bomb, but they did say they were going to make another. I imagine that the Hasbro franchise, they want to keep it going. There's a lot of money in it. I assume it probably sold some more toys and quite a few Blu-rays and 4Ks and DVDs. I saw people in my Walmart checking it out when it came out this week. So it was okay. It was, you know, a lot of people. I have a good buddy who turned it off halfway through, just didn't watch any more of it. He might be more familiar with G.I. Joe than me. But for me, as action movies go, it wasn't terrible. I didn't turn it off. I wasn't bored. I didn't check my phone in it. And for a 2-hour action movie, that's, you know, kind of hard to believe. It does take a little bit to get going, but I dig characterizations. I like the fact that all these actors get a chance to shine for the most part. And the action's pretty nonstop for the last hour. So if you get bored in the talky bits, just fast forward. There's plenty of action in this film. So Snake Eyes, not as bad as you've heard. Your mileage may vary. Check it out. It's available for rent, to own, and on streaming services just about everywhere, I guess. I'm Scott Hamilton. I'm ROCKFILE. Check out below for all my other links. Thank you for listening. I've got a lot of podcasts coming now, especially with the internet coming home in just about another week or so. I'll be able to get back to podcasting in the privacy of my home studio, and then you'll get a lot more content out of me. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, and always listening.